Top of the hour. Here we go. Now we start. Okay, so welcome. This is the weekly JV Partner webinar, and present today we have Mr. William Deweese, Dr. Deweese, as I like to refer to him, and Avish Parisher. He's a, PhD in microbiology as well, and
Indeed.
unbeknownst to him, though. So anyway, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things we're doing. First off, Bill, I've been watching the ranking reports for the various keyword terms for the site voice-over-training.org, and I have been fascinated, literally fascinated, by the movement of the rankings.
It's like a yo-yo.
It is like a yo-yo. And again, this is called, I forget, the Google Dance, I think some people refer to it as, which always reminds me of something that should be done by, like, Bobby Brown or something. But I'm not really sure exactly how it's supposed to work, but it does seem to be fluctuating quite wildly. Have you been noticing?
I have, and I tell you, something I've even noticed more of is is the activity that I get in terms of spam that gets sent to specific strategic videos that are linked to my keyword pages.
What
I
about
know when something's happened because of that.
opt-ins? Have you seen any increase in opt-ins?
Not generally speaking. I still average about the same, although a few days ago I had like 6 or 7 in a day, which was more than twice what I normally get. But it's typically been staying around 2 or 3 a day, which is about average for me.
Gotcha. Okay, so then 2 or 3 a day, and again, what we may want to start doing is starting like the 1st of March, taking notes on the total number of opt-ins that come in, by month to see the
Yeah,
progression.
sure.
And that would be kind of cool to do. So, anything else that you sort of figured out? Because, by the way, the big thing here for those of you who are sort of watching and listening is that Bill initiated this whole search engine thing a number of months back, and it's now finally starting to kick in. Is there anything left for you to do, or are you pretty much done?
I think I'm not aware of anything else that I have to do. What is happening now, just to bring you up to date, is that we've outsourced the writing of some more articles and press releases, and actually Ermal is handling that on my behalf right now. So those are being done as we speak.
Got it. Now, did you go to the place I recommended or somewhere else?
Now he went to a place that he uses to write these press releases, and I don't know the name of it offhand. Maybe it's the same one that you use. I don't know.
Got it. And so, what kind of, was it similar pricing to what I gave you? I think it's the same, right? Pretty close.
Yeah, I think it's very close.
And so, in doing that, how far along is that, and how much is left to do, and what's going on?
Well, my understanding is the only thing that's left is to send out. Well, first of all, all the keyword articles. There are primary keyword articles that are all written and they're all scheduled to go out. They're being released right now. Staggered over a course of a couple of weeks. So we're right in the middle of that now. And then I know Ermal, the guy who's handling this SEO project, wants to send some additional articles and press releases that somehow support the primary articles that are linked to our primary keywords. And I don't know all the voodoo that happens there, exactly how that works, but this is supposed to be like the final big push.
Good. Well, I'll be anxious to hear it. Now, have you been sort of keeping a little journal and taking some notes on what's been done and going on? Because that should be interesting.
Yeah, as best I understand it,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. Well, that's good. So let's see here. What else do we want? Oh, yeah. So now the other thing that we started to do is put together the website for, and I know that Stanley got started on that. What were we putting the website for? Website for the marketing seminar, right?
Yes, that's right. This will be promoting my marketing seminar, which is coming up in late April.
Okay, and that's on this page, as I recall. Is this link? This link is not yet up, right? Nope.
That's correct. Well, the link, right? It's not up as of yet.
Okay, and so what is the site for that?
It will be. Let's see here. It's going to be voiceoverplaybookworkshop.com. That is the URL that we'll be using. Right now, you'll get nothing, but
Got it.
that's where it's going to go up.
Gotcha. Okay. Super duper. So then that will eventually hold uh, information about the upcoming voiceover marketing workshop.
Yes, correct. And what I'm doing now, if you're interested in knowing how I'm trying to create some buzz for it, is
Oh
I
no,
actually
I'm
spoke
I'm
to
not at all interested. No, 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 really.
No, neither am
this being a marketing type of endeavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was invited to speak a few days ago to a group of it's like a what they call a workout group. These are voiceover talent who get together, who live close to each other, and they support each other and practice with each other. And I was asked to Skype in to address this group of about 9 or 10 people. And so I've got actually one of the seats for my event. One of the people has one of the 7 seats is already taken.
Nice.
Um, I had received an email from a second person from that group this morning who expects to have the cash together by end of week. So, we'll see what happens there. And what I'm doing, what I did today was I recorded a YouTube video.
Yeah, I saw the notice on that. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, so that actually has usable content, but what it does within that video, I promote a free webinar that I'm doing Tuesday, which in turn will point people to that upcoming seminar. If
Good
you
idea,
follow
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Now, the other thing I wanted to alert you to, I don't know, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but what you should probably do in your area, because it seems like you're getting a lot more people coming just from there. Are you familiar with Meetup?
I'm not.
Okay, what you need to do is go to meetup.com, and for I think it's like $70 a year, you can be the head of a meeting. For example, so do you see this on the screen right now?
Yeah, sure do.
Okay, so if we put in here voiceover, and what's your area code where you are? Your postal code? Yeah.
60914.
0914. Let's see who else. 60914. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Let's see who's in your
Yes.
area doing anything similar. Let's see here. Okay, Naperville, blah, 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 blah. But what you can do is you can put up a group specifically for voiceovers, and this will, here's my thinking on this. Meetup, by the way, is the single best, biggest, site online for people who want to get together with others about a given topic. So you could put up a group here. And the reason for doing this is the following, which is it appears to me, and this is true for a lot of people, that I would say that most of your seminar attendees, come from somewhere close. Now, by that I mean that obviously that concentric circle can expand, more and more, but let's take a look at the last seminar that you did. Okay.
Well, interestingly, I had 6 people come.
Okay.
I had 6 paid seats, 6 seats. 3 of those, one came from Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, one from Omaha.
One from New York.
Mm-hmm.
And one from Kalamazoo, Michigan, which would have been, closest in terms of those 3 in terms of region. That's still a number of hours away. Mm-hmm. And then the remaining 3 were in the Chicagoland area.
Okay, so this means to me that what you need to do is understand that, yes, some people will come from faraway places. Many people will come from your own area. So it's probably worth it for us to set up a meetup group. And if you do your meetup, say, once a month, what I would probably do is make it, somewhere, I don't know if you want to do it, in the Loop or wherever, but somewhere so that everybody from Chicago can get to it easily.
Yeah.
So I would suggest you do the meetup thing and start holding regular meetings in addition to, and those are usually free or nominal charges and fees. You can see when you look at that site. Now, the other thing that you and I talked about, and Avish, you should listen in on this as well, is the other thing is the whole, we're obviously, Kindle is the source we've talked about. Clickbank is something that you probably want to do. Everything that we're doing here is we're trying to find, we know that you have good products. We think that most of the site and the system that you're using is obviously good in terms of using video email and following up, blah, blah, blah. But what we aren't getting as much of yet, and hopefully with Irmal stuff and some other things, is traffic. So the nice thing about Kindle and Clickbank is these are two ways in which we can, generate traffic slash visitors and get paid to do so. So that means that we now have a system using Kindle and Clickbank and whatever, where we might be able to generate some, I don't know, a few, a lot, I don't know what the number would be, some number of leads, all of which will actually make money on the front end generating the leads. So
Right.
it's a negative cost marketing method.
I see.
So what we're trying to do now, again, I don't think that either of these, Clickbank or Kindle, if we put something together, will necessarily generate you millions of people because, frankly, voiceover work, I mean, it's not like we are selling a service or talking about a service that has universal appeal. I don't know
Right.
how many
Right.
I don't know how many voiceover artists there are in the US, maybe you do, and I don't know how many people are aspiring voiceover artists either. But I'm sure that the number isn't, it's certainly not as big as the number of people who want to listen to Adele play music.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a niche topic, but we're still looking for ways to generate X number of leads and to generate those leads as efficiently as humanly possible. So, whether it's Avish for speakers or you for voiceover artists or me for information marketing types and people who have an interest, what we're looking for is but the problem is, once you get the lead to the site, and that's frankly why one of the things I made the change here, at fredgleeck.com
Can
because
hear you, Bill.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
are you
Fred?
there? What is it?
You
Maybe
cut out
I
for
lost you.
about 10 seconds there.
Oh, you guys were gone or I was gone?
No, you were gone.
Really?
You
Oh,
were
We
here.
still can hear each other, but
Yeah.
huh, that's weird. I'm sitting here talking, thinking I can be heard, and I was, I certainly heard myself, but, that's not.
I hope you didn't waste your best material then.
Yeah, I was just saying that it's a great way to generate, as many leads as you can for as little money as possible. You guys can still
Right.
hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the ways I was doing that here on fredgleeck.com is in the under $5 items because I figure I get a fair amount of traffic to the site. Maybe people are getting turned off by the higher price point items. So I created this whole area, just to do that. This is something, this is basically, and by the way, the latest article about 5,400 words just went up today. This is how to create a killer video. So I've got, how to create a great audio product, blah, blah, blah. So all of these are articles now that sit on the Kindle site. So for you, Bill, for both Kindle and Clickbank, what we want to do is, for both of these, is to come up with a relatively inexpensive front-end product that will generate sales and thus leads for more expensive dollars and services. That makes sense, right?
Right.
And in case you don't know, again, I don't know if you've had a chance because you've been busy to look at Clickbank and all, but basically Clickbank is a marketplace for people who want to buy and sell digital products. And so that means ebooks or whatever. I mean, you can put up, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do, but that's one of the places that we want to probably, get the word out there. But I love what you're doing with these groups. Now, the group that you just met with, what are you calling that again? It's what kind of group?
I think they called it a workout group.
A workout group. Okay, so now, so do you guys do some stretching and flexibility? What happened at this group?
Yeah, I think they do something like that.
So now, with this particular group, then they meet how often?
I believe weekly.
Oh wow! And so, is there a network of these kind of groups all over the country?
I know there are other ones. I don't how many that I don't know.
How do we
I know of
find
at least a couple others.
How do we find them?
Well, the way to find them probably is where I'm at now, being on these social media sites. They tend to gravitate to these like voiceover groups and Facebook and LinkedIn. So, which is where I've been, generating my leads, and that's where I've come in contact with these people to begin with.
That's great because I love it because the idea here is it's much more efficient to market one on many than to do one-on-one naturally. So I'm excited about that kind of a concept. And Avish, I don't know if you've done this as well. Have you done any meetups yourself, Avish?
Back in the day, I was doing some meetups, but some were just social. One or two were business related. But I mean, they're like any other networking type group. They can be hit or miss in terms of really it just depends on who shows up.
Well, the nice thing is if you start one yourself, at least you know that it's going to get done right. So I think it might be doing, it might be worth doing some kind of Philadelphia speakers kind of thing. And then, you get people together once a month or more often. You can record the materials, create a product, and, you can charge a nominal fee or nothing to show up. And I think that those people become prospects as well as referral sources for you and your speaking.
Yeah, I mean that is a possibility. It's a much greater commitment of time and energy to do a meetup than to do the writing and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. So you look at it as being a bigger commitment for me. It would seem easier than doing writing because it's just be like, you basically tell people where to go and you throw up a few words. I'm not seeing where the time element is taking place there.
Well,
So
I think you also forget that you're energized by meeting strangers.
right, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm like thinking exactly like Avish is thinking,
Really.
because he and I are cut from the same cloth.
So in other words, both you guys don't would really prefer not to have to do that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm
So
speaking for myself. Well,
I
plus I would have at least an hour to an hour and a half drive each way,
got it.
being so far out of the city.
But I'll tell you, I think that for you, Bill, this, it might end up being something really worthwhile doing, even if it's just once a month.
Yeah, I would like to find a way to leverage it even more by tapping into more of these groups, and I think these big national gatherings might be a good place to do that, which we had talked about briefly before.
Absolutely. Well, I think the national gatherings for you are perfect. Have you gotten a list of those, and do you know when you can go to them, et cetera?
Well, I know when the next, there's one big one that's coming up this summer, and I haven't told you this, and I don't want to get too far off track. I know you got stuff to cover, but
No.
I was just contacted by a microphone manufacturing company a
Mm.
few days ago,
Who
and
said what?
they want to essentially sponsor me, and by sponsoring simply mean giving me equipment to use.
Well, I would now. How big of a player are they in the business? This isn't Neumann or anything, is it?
No, it's not Neumann, but they're called Blue Microphone, and they're certainly known within the business. But they're like popped onto the scene about a decade ago. So
Well,
essentially, they're going to provide me equipment to use,
well,
and within that, of course,
we
that'll be seen in my videos.
yeah, we want to parlay that into something else, which is
Well, and
this.
what I was getting to is this might be as we look down the road to doing something. We get a couple of these guys on board, might be able to do something bigger and better than otherwise.
Yeah, well, this is my point though. That one of the things that you can do is I would now. How big a company is Blue?
Well, in terms of annual revenue, I have no idea. I know they're a highly respected company. I recently recorded an audiobook in a studio up in Chicago in which we used a Blue microphone. I've known people in the business who use them. I saw a recent Bob Dylan video in which he was singing into a Blue microphone.
Got it.
So I mean, they're endorsed by some pretty major players.
I'm trying to look at they're located
It's
they're
Blue
located
Mic,
they're located less.
BlueMIC.com.
I'm sorry.
BlueMIC.com.
Yeah, I found them here. They're in
Oh, okay.
Westlake Village, California, which is less than 20 minutes from where I am right now.
Oh,
And the thing about it is that my goal would be to have them sponsor some seminars.
yeah, yeah.
Because just for microphones, that's fine. But if they're not going to be, if I would be looking to have them now. Tell me what they have currently. What do they have on the table in terms of an offer?
Well, I mean, the only offer is they've offered to provide me with their equipment to use if I like it.
Okay,
You
and
know, but
so now I would think that you may want to with their I would find, and this is something everyone could do. I think we should find and identify the top three manufacturers of all types of stuff for your business. So let's for a
Yeah.
second brainstorm. Microphones would be one of them. The other people I would go to, since you have one, is the Whisper Room.
Yeah, right. And here's the third one because I've been thinking about this. Aphex, APHEX.
And what do they do?
It's called a vocal processing strip. It's like that powers my microphone and
Yeah.
makes it sound so big and warm and all that stuff.
Which every voiceover person probably obviously needs a microphone, obviously needs a quiet
Right.
space, and obviously needs this Aphex thing, right?
Right. You could get by without the Aphex, but it's nice to have. Yeah.
Okay,
It makes
so
a
if we're
difference.
looking at this, what we're trying to do then is trying to get these kinds of folks, and I would then, is there any other, are there competitors to Whisper Room?
Yeah, vocalbooth.com is probably their biggest competitor.
Okay,
And then some other minor players, which I don't know off the top of my head.
okay, well then microphones, you can easily find three vendors. Here's what you're going to do. Now, does Aphex have competitors?
Yes, they do. I don't know who their biggest ones would be off the top of my head, but there are lots of companies that make that kind of product.
Okay, so here's what you want to do. You want to start, especially as, I mean, this will become easier as you move into, you know, the big leagues with the better search engine placement, because you can contact them and say, by the way, if you look at voiceover artists, I come up number three, blah, blah. And you should
Right.
approach these people and say, look, I got to be honest with you. I'm looking at you and this and these guys are sort of my top three. So what we should do is come up with an idea of what do we want to get from these folks. And obviously we want to get two things, which is the best thing, you know, you already have most of the gear. So really we're looking for some kind of sponsorship. And so
Yeah.
sponsorship of what is the question. And for you, what you really want them to be doing is sponsoring, and you may end up later on being able to have your own, you know, this is what we talked about before, and I think we actually reserved some domain names for a trade association, right?
Right, right, yes.
Okay, so the trade association is sort of a later thing that you're going to be able to do. But for right now, the nice thing that you can do immediately is sponsorship of what is seminars. So what you could do is you could actually, if you could get each of these folks, the microphone people, the Whisper Room people, and the Aphex people, to all jointly sponsor an event. And part of what they would do is to mail to their list. In
Oh.
addition to providing you with, you know, equipment and money for the venue, and they may even have a venue you can use. So what you want to do is you want to reduce your cost to below zero, both for the event, which means they'll probably pay you something, as well as you want to get them to start getting you leads, because it all comes back to one thing, which is, you know, database and enlarging the
Right.
size of the database. And these folks will not only help you do that, but they'll also enhance your credibility.
Right, right. I like it.
Yeah, so again, I think I would be looking, who are the top three microphone folks? I mean, obviously Blue we're going to keep in there. Who would be the other ones? Is it
Neumann. Yeah, Rode would be one, and Neumann would be another one.
How do I spell Neumann? Is that right?
Yeah, one more N.
Cool.
You got it.
Okay, so then I would approach these three people and say, you know, frankly, you are the only three people, and what you would be wanting to do is offering one of these vendors exclusivity for a period of a year. Because in the event that you start to, you know, you and the site and everything start to go really crazy, we don't want to be locked into one person for more than a year, because next year at this same time, we might be able to get triple or quadruple the amount of compensation from either them or one of their competitors.
Right.
So yeah, I would be looking into let's compose something that, you know, we can send to these people, make contact with them, etc. And by the way, they look at this as a very good investment on their part, because they're getting to the exact people. And so usually what happens is, you know, this, you always say, you know, I want to thank my three sponsors. One of them is Rode. You know, I've been using Rode mics. Here's one. And by the way, their representative is right here. His name is Bill. or Jim at the back. Jim, could you stand up? Yeah, go talk to Jim about the X549 new mic that they have.
Okay.
So that what we want to
Yeah.
do is they are paying to get in front of the right people for them. And so what you're doing is you're making their marketing easier and they're making your marketing easier.
Right. Right. Oh, beautiful.
Cool. So that's some stuff there. Now, one of the things I wanted to switch to, Avish, and again, we do this based on who shows up at the call first. So, Dave, you're at the back of the bus.
Oh wait, I'll back the bus, man.
So, Avish, let me talk to you about what we have coming up. Is for him, we've got Say Yes and why don't you tell people what's going on there?
Sure. Well, this is my new book, and I'm doing kind of a whole organized book launch around it. The official launch is next Tuesday, and all that means is that's the day I'm trying to get everyone to buy the book. It's already up on Amazon, but I'm telling everyone not to buy it yet. So, and I'm doing something similar to what Fred did a month ago, which is if people buy it that day, and then come back to the site and enter in their Amazon order number, I will give them a whole bunch of downloadable bonuses. Something like over $200 worth of stuff. Essentially everything I've ever created in digital format you can get if you buy the book on that one day.
So now, how do they know that they have to put in their Amazon order number?
I'm letting people download the book for free right now. That offer ends Thursday night, so as soon as that ends, I'll put up the information that says launches coming on. The book is launching Tuesday, and explain it, and then that day we'll have the form up for people to use.
How many downloads so far for free?
About 210.
210 free downloads. Good. Okay, sounds good. And so what you're doing is using that to get the word out and get the buzz going.
Yeah, and I'm still going to hit all those people to still buy the paperback because they'll get the paperback plus the bonuses, and I'm going to appeal to their sense of, good-natured support. So
yeah, appeal to their sense of shame.
Exactly.
Shame
Point out all the value I've given them between my list and blog and freebies, and say, hey, pay me back.
So sounds good. So now, again, why don't you in addition to people like me telling our list about it, anything else that you're doing that's particularly interesting or different about the launch?
Well, I don't know about interesting or different. I mean, I've contacted, every single person I can think of with one of two things. The people I feel comfortable with, I've asked to both promote it that day and buy a copy. People maybe I feel a little less comfortable asking to shell money out, I at least ask, can you promote it? So I've got a bunch of people emailing it out that day, more people posting it on their Facebook and whatnot. I've done a little bit with reviews. I've sent copies of the book off to some review sites. There are a couple of reviews out there and things like that. So it's just, what I want from you guys is to buy the book on the 28th and, send people to this website on the 28th as well so they can also get the bonuses.
Okay, that's good. So we have an idea of what we're supposed to do because Avish is very, he's less comfortable trying to or asking people to do something that might actually benefit him. So that's
true.
Part of his nature. Yeah, I mean, you feel a little bit. I mean, that's a whole therapy thing. That's not my.
Yeah, well, that's why I come to you, Fred.
that's not what I get paid for. At least not these days. So anyway, this is good, and we now know everybody on the call knows what they're supposed to do. And again, the website is sayyesand.com. And why don't you explain to people, basically give them the thumbnail sketch of what this book is about.
Yeah, well, it's based on a principle from improvisational comedy, which in improv you're taught not to say yes but rather to say yes and. Because if you say yes but in an improv scene, it stops collaboration, it stops progress, and it really makes you work against the other people, and nothing good comes of that. So I take that idea from improv and apply it, show how destructive yes but can be, both personally and interpersonally, then demonstrate how saying yes and can really open up a lot of doors and help you move forward in your life, and then give ideas on how you can apply it to your own life, to your career, and to your organization.
Sounds good. And again, I think that this is, part of the whole process here. Now, I was sort of, I have something that relates to what we just talked about, which is I have no problems approaching people, but it's really funny. I used to think that, being number one in Google for something like the term information marketing, and thanks to Stanley, about 15 other related terms, number one. I thought this would carry some weight, but evidently not, because I've approached a bunch of people recently to try and get them to try and have me interview them, and they're not even responding. So again, you think something is important. It certainly would be if somebody contacted me and said, "Hey, I'm number one for this term," if it was something I had an interest in or was a market I was trying to go after. But evidently, some people that's not very impressive. Let me give you an example. So what I just recently did, and this is where I copied your site, Avish, for the, and I got one guy who I've interviewed before. This guy is Joshua Talent here, and this one is a gal who came to the last boot camp, Jill Townsend. She's a writer, and this is obviously me. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and get 6 or 7 experts. My goal here is 6 to 7 experts in e-book publishing or e-book related publishing. And so what I'm trying to do here is get these people to agree to be interviewed and to do a similar thing to what you did, Avish. And again, a lot of this copy is your copy that I've just sort of changed a little bit, but I have a lot of lorem ipsum stuff in there. So, for a while I had your name down at the bottom here. Luckily, it's been replaced. I asked Stanley to change that. But so we're trying to come up with, who are the people that I'm going to try and get here. And so when I've been approaching these people, I've approached this one woman who I bought her ebook on Kindle, and she responded to me with this really sort of suspicious, response. And she obviously knows this guy Joshua Talent, and so I was using her name to try and get to her, his name to get to her. And but I'm sure she's skeptical of this being some kind of a super sell fest or whatever. But I've tried to assure that that's not the case. But again, the lesson here is it's just like back in college where I had pretty good dating success, not because I was good looking or had a good line, but merely because I was putting a lot of leads into the funnel. I was willing to ask a lot of people out, and I didn't give a rat's behind whether or not they said no or not. I just kept asking. And, if you do that kind of, adopt that kind of an attitude and that kind of an approach, what ends up happening is, someone is bound to say yes, and at least in college that was true. No longer. Must be because of the black suit. They think I'm a mortician. Anyway, so this is now what I'm doing is, and again, I think this model works pretty well, doing the teleseminar thing. And it's nice because I don't have to go somewhere physically, but I'm also thinking about doing a live event, and that's the kindlebookseminar.com. And at kindlebookseminar.com, this is going to be a live, face-to-face kind of deal. Not sure exactly when this is going to happen, and I also just have placeholder text in there. But I'm going to put something on live as well. And this is where I copied Bill's site, so I'm pretty
so
good.
That looks familiar.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at stealing everyone else's stuff here, especially people I'm supposed to be helping ostensibly. So the whole thing is trying to get, all of this is all about how do you get, whether it's for the seminars or anything else, again, remembering the end game. The end game for me is to get as many people to show up at boot camps. And now, by the way, boot camps are restricted to 4 people. Bill, I don't know if you saw this. I'm only having 4 people per boot camp. And so it's now 16 people total per year. And so that makes it, even more, sort of more exclusive. And I'm screening a lot more carefully for those people. And I got a couple very interesting people showing up this coming boot camp. Right now we have 3 signed up. There's 1 space remaining. 2 guys and 1 woman so far. So preferably there'd be an additional woman so we can have them share that one additional room. But of the two guys, I've got my buddy Jeff Greco, who may be on the call. I don't see his name, and he's findajewishwife.com, and I've got Paul Kennedy, brother of Robert. No, not quite. But by the way, growing up, he's very waspy looking. He wouldn't mind me saying that, and he's from the Northeast, so everybody thinks he's somehow related. And I don't think he ever disabused anyone of that concept while he was, in college. But Paul Kennedy is a lawyer and has a tax specialization. I've known Paul for a long time because he was a good buddy of mine and had this really great Rottweiler years ago that was such a well-trained dog. But Paul is really frustrated because what he really should be in life, to be honest, is a fashion designer. He should be designing women's clothes. And his wife is very, very patient and long-suffering because right now he's going through some challenges because he trusted some people who he shouldn't have trusted, and so all of a sudden there's some things happening that isn't too good. So he's trying to find other ways to make money. So we're trying to figure out, well, what should Paul be doing? And so Paul is going to be there at the event. So anyway, so the whole point is getting people into your funnel and trading them up to other more interesting and more stuff is always a good idea. Let me give you a little bit of review here and I think I don't have it on this computer, darn it. But I've sort of now, I'm still on track to do 2 Kindle articles per week, which my goal again by the end of the year is to have 100 Kindle items, books and articles up on the site. The curve of sales, I thought it was going to be exponential, and it seems to be more arithmetic. So it was 100 and something like 120 in December, and then I had 242 in January, and of course I thought it would be like 400, but it's looking more like it's going to be like somewhere around 350 or so for February. Now the nice thing is, this is still starting to be real money, but it's starting to pick up, and I'm just in the process of writing my latest blog post, which is going to be called, and I think I've talked to you guys about this before, is why should what every information marketer can learn from songwriters and laundromat owners. And, songwriters, if you think about it, and this is the cool thing about writing songs, songwriters get paid every time a song is played on the radio. It's crazy. So they get paid often, but in small amounts. Now, laundromat owners get paid in quarters, and so there's sort of a similar thing going on there, and what happens is that I would much rather have, and going back to the term that Avish coined a number of years ago now, Gleekonomics. And Gleekonomics is the art and science of generating 100 checks a month from 100 different sources. So the whole idea here is, and the reason for that is, and Bill, you and I both have our little MBA brains here, is that, and mine being very little, but it's all about trying to diversify your revenue sources. Right now, let's take a look at Bill DeWeese. Bill, what percentage of your income is coming from, and in your case, the nice thing is it's voiceover, and 90+% right now,
right,
is 90+ is coming from voiceovers, right?
Correct.
And our goal for you is within the next 18 months to make it 50%, and then 50% from info products. So now the thing about it is that every time I look at my sources of revenue, I'm always worried because I have a number of sources that comprise a fairly, big percentage, and it would be very painful for one of those sources to go away. So I think it behooves everyone, and that's why this whole concept of, Gleeconomics here, of generating 100 checks a month from 100 different sources, makes it so that you can get your money coming in from different places, and it's less scary. You don't have to worry if one thing starts going south. And that's why, so I'm thinking to myself, okay, I want to get a check coming in from the Kindle folks. I get another thing from CreateSpace, another check from CreateSpace, because that's the physical book, and physical books, I should say. Okay, if I can spell it. And then I get another check coming in from Web Marketing Magic. I get another check coming in from Ultra Cheap Domains, which, by the way, last night, it's always about on the 22nd that I get a deposit from Ultra Cheap Domains, who, by the way, are again putting on an amazing conference that they're inviting me to in Phoenix this year, where all of their, the resellers that are doing pretty well, they asked to show up. So, I'm looking at all of the different checks, and then of course I have Avish and Bill and Dave, and I've got other people that I'm getting money from every month, and I want to make sure that everybody understands that I just want to be in a position where I would rather be making, 50 grand a month from 100 different sources rather than just 2 or 3 sources, because if one of them all of a sudden decides to bail for whatever reason, it's tough to replace that income. So to me, that's what this is all about, is trying to do that. So, and some, I just thought about that. I keep thinking about this the other day. I was complaining to Sabrina that my right pinky finger was sore because I've been slamming on the return key so much from writing, right? And I thought to myself, you know what? Shut the heck up. There are people who have to work factory jobs, And so here I am bitching and moaning about having to write a bunch of articles. Enough already. So, it's just, you got to do it. You got to do it. So this is what's happening here. And so I'm looking to add, some Clickbank money here. I'm looking to add some, fill in the blank, all these different things. So in your case, Bill, I want to make sure that even within the voiceover community and all the voiceover work, that revenue is being generated from a lot of different sources. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so that's our goal, is for all, everybody to try and get money coming in, and have that money coming in from different places. So now, Dave, Mr. Hamilton, tell us what's going on with you.
Well, come up from the back of the bus here. I got something cool to show you. You know how I've been, for a long time, been working on helping people with their websites and marketing. You need sales pages, squeeze pages, authority sites, blogs, membership sites, everything. I've got kind of an all-in-one solution that I built to make my life easier, and now I'm kind of packaging it for other people to use, and it's a pre-designed website where it's not a theme, but it is the all-inclusive site with copy, with images, with everything, that once it's installed, they can just go back and change to customize themselves, add their copy, add their buy links, opt-in stuff. So I've started a kind of a sales page to promote it and show people how it works on this domain. I'm calling them Digital Product Vaults. So it's digitalproductvault.com. And that has, it kind of guides you through everything that it has, and it's singular vault. There you go.
Got the plural.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Someone calls me grin.
Okay, so. Okay,
basically.
So what now? So basically, this is. So are there demos available?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Now let me move this back to here. So this is, I clicked on the squeeze page vault. So this is the example of, my gosh, Dave, you look so much different in this video. Let's see here. I was going to say your site allows you to even change color. That was amazing. So
It's an option. There's lots of pull drop downs to.
um, so here we've got. I clicked on. How did I click on authority site?
Oh shoot, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. I need to take off the membership. But there's a. I should have done that. There's a full-blown membership site that I've been using. This, you know, the site has about maybe 50 pages already built.
There
Yeah,
is.
I'm using Bill as a filler image. I'll take
Yeah,
that
but
off,
luckily,
Bill,
luckily you're calling him
called
Irwin
worse.
Fletcher.
if anybody knows the reference, Irwin M. Fletcher, you get a free or something. But
Nice.
anyway, you see here, go ahead and click on one of the membership content things. It's kind of designed, ready for them to add a video or an image or downloads, and the whole thing will be password protected. It's ready to be integrated with Wishlist. I mean, I have everything pre-done, all the welcome pages, the registration pages, so it is like a complete system. And rather than have people build it up, I'm just gonna, if somebody's interested, I'm gonna clone it to their domain, and there's a few tweaks, and literally the site is ready for them to, to add their own content.
How quickly can this get put up?
It's if they have a domain where they give me the hosting information within 24 hours.
I've got it. Okay, so and gotcha. Well, that's very nice. And so now the other thing is, in this membership type software, are you going to have videos? Are you going to have a place for them to put text or audios as well?
It's a blank slate. They can add whatever they want very easily. I mean, downloads, text, videos, audios. It's whatever they want to deliver.
Okay, and is there training material to go with this?
Yeah, that's well, it's not recorded yet. I'm kind of documenting what I need to show, but if you look down on that sales page right there, I include all the legal documents, and there's training. I throw in 2,000 pieces of graphics. The Evergreen launch is actually, I think, something that more people ought to be using, and it's basically, people have probably seen it before, but it's a 4-part video sequence that you're drip fed. So you don't send people right to the sales page where a very small percentage will buy. You get them started on, here's video 1, and you tell a story. And then a week later, they're given access to video 2, which is the problem they're going to face. And they can share it, they can comment on it, it builds momentum, and over a 4-week or 4-day or whatever sequence, they're brought along the story, and after week 4 or video 4, they're given the chance to buy at a discount rate, and it just increases conversions. Then here's your first time looking at it, buy it or leave, that kind of thing.
Okay, so what we should probably try and do is, you should probably get me like access to all this stuff so I can put it up somewhere and use it as an example, and have a bunch of other folks that so that we can get up. Because this is always the big challenge. Somebody looks at all this stuff and says, "Wow, this is great, looks great," but let me see what is really being done here. So you have me and a few other people that you can show examples and sort of case studies of how each person is using it. And I think that would make it really, what I would do is, on this page, Dave, I would put in a little video like right to the side of squeeze page, 30 to 45 seconds, that says, hey, a squeeze page is so you can get people to blah, 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 and that's included in this. A sales page is where you get people to buy your product, blah, blah, blah. An authority site is basically blah, blah, blah. And an evergreen launch, let me explain to you what that is. Membership vault, here's what that is. Legal pages, here's what that is. Put a little video for each of these so people aren't confused as to what they are, and you can actually explain it to them. Now, then what would be nice is, if I clicked on any of these, I would see a list that said, click here to look at existing client samples or real life domains that are using this system.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Jeffrey Greco is going to have 3 sites that are all using this, and that the NFL guy that I'm working with is speaking at a Nike conference in 2 weeks to 1,500 coaches, and we're going to sell a product using one of these. So, I'm focused pretty much exclusively on getting these up and running. But I agree with you that making it very easy is paramount.
Well, making it easy, and one of the things you have to do is, in the beginning, you have to take certain influential decision makers and influencers like me and your dad and other people, and let them use the product for free so that we can show it off, because everybody, when they see this, they go, oh, wow, that looks good. I could probably use that someday. And they're not really making a connection with how to use it. But if you had, here are 3 or 4 existing ongoing client samples. Now, so Troy says he likes the concept of the digital product vault. So Troy, you can go there and buy that. And also earlier, David asked the question about whether or not I would record boot camps. I don't record my boot camps at all. I record certain like call-ins that people make, but the boot camps are exclusively sort of a live event for people who show up. Boot camps are not recorded. Now, some of the other events that I do are, but the boot camp where I have only 16 people are not recorded, because what I'm trying to do is make them very exclusive, not really giving out all the secret sauce that we do at the boot camp, so that people can show up live and in person. So that answers those 2 questions. Now, Dave, let me ask, if anybody else has any other questions, now's the time to ask them about anything we've covered so far, because we've got about 10 minutes left before we get to the top of the hour. So good questions from both David and Troy. Does anybody else have any other questions that they would like to bring up? Yeah.
While they're doing that, I wanted to show you something particular. You know how we've been working on the Authority Site 101?
Yep.
Scroll down a little and look at the Authority Site there. Go and take a look at the demo. And it's kind of the same thing, but it's pre-built like this. And you can see the different pages on the menu. And this is just filler text, but each one of those is pre-populated. Hey, that's a handsome guy. But, the blog has preset articles that can be replaced. The products has filler stuff.
Yep.
Just add your buy link.
Yep. Contact
work. So anyway, it's kind of add water and it's good to go.
Let's see here. So now I've got a question here from Scott that he's a life management coach, but I'm concerned that life management as a keyword isn't as strong as time management or stress management. I've purchased stress management life coach. Scott, probably the best way, that's pretty specific. So why don't you just send me an email, fredgleeck@gmail.com, and we can try and answer that for you. So Scott's question, again, a little bit more specific than I think I could have, but it has to do with reserving domain names based on keywords and keyword searches, and we can cover some of that. Scott, I don't know if you've seen, but on my site we've got a bunch of the videos in the training area that relate to the selection of domain names. That may help, but if it doesn't, definitely get back in touch with me. Now, Dave, any other final thoughts here before we get to the end that you want to show people? So basically, this authority site is already done for us. The only thing we have to do is change the images and change the text. Is that correct?
Change images, text, and the buy links. But everything is ready to go. It's built on Optimized Press, which is just fantastic. So it's down there on that sales page, Digital Product Vault. There's a link at the bottom. If people are interested, they can just click that and
which one?
Give me a few thoughts. Go back to, you're on the /authority. You go back to the main domain there. There you go. Down at the bottom of there is a contact link.
Got it. Now, Troy is asking, will he have to purchase multiple vaults for multiple sites?
That's a good question. No. The answer is no. He will have to buy a license for like wish list if he has the membership component. But I'm going to make it so you buy one, you can install it on any domain that you own, but you cannot install it on, if you're a webmaster, you can't go using this on other ones.
So I think Troy's question is, if he had like 50 sites, he only needs one copy.
Yeah, although he's going to have to, for me to clone it, there's, some tools that I use to instantly add it. Now, he could learn to do that himself, but adding it to a domain instantly takes some special software, but even with that, it goes pretty easy. I could show people how to do that.
There you go, Troy. So again, I would contact Dave by clicking on this link right here, this one right here, and that will get you to where you want to go. Great. Well, a lot of good information today was had by all, and Avish and Bill and Dave, thank you all for being here, and thank you for everyone else. Now, anyone who's on the webinar, make sure to tell your friends, tell everybody you know that we do this every Wednesday. And again, we will see you all back here next Wednesday. Thanks for everybody's participation. Guys, thanks very much.
Thanks, Fred.
You got it, buddy.
Great, thank
Bye.
you. See you, everyone.
The organizer has ended the session.